Well, Trump met with Salmon at the White House. I was in the store today, and while in line, there were three people in front of me. They all happened to be African American. Um, they start talking about Trump and talking about the racism that was involved with his candidacy, whatever. Liberal California, I expect that everywhere I go by at least one or two people. But they engaged in a game of, because usually when I hear people talk, they have some disagreement with the other person. It was just yep, yep. You had a guy in this discussion that said he refuses to go to a red state. He refuses to go to Texas, to Oklahoma, to Alabama, to Mississippi, Missouri, all of these different states because of who their governor is. And I thought about that. And I said to myself, these blacks, and it's not every, African American who happens to be a Democrat, but they have this sworn loyalty to a party that has not done a single thing for them on any major level in 49 years since that Civil Rights Act of 1968. And, I was thinking more about why are they like this? Now, one could say, oh, well, the Democrats had the first black president. So, okay, well, think of all of the, since we trace the history of blacks being loyal to Democrats over the last 5 decades, or 6 decades rather, since 1960. Let's give it until that. Think of all the gubernatorial elections and senatorial elections that have occurred since that time. How many of those candidates were black? How many of those candidates were of a minority? I'll wait. There were a few, yeah. You had Tom Bradley run for governor of California and lose. And you've obviously had a few victories here and there, but my point that I'm trying to make with Deval Patrick as governor of Massachusetts, it's so far few and in between. Just blacks even getting to be the candidate of the Democratic Party, that it doesn't make sense to me as to why 9 times out of 10, if an African American person votes in a presidential election, they're voting for a Democrat. And I know it's not on the issue of ideology because I've seen multiple African Americans express dissatisfaction with gay rights. It's part of the Christianity thing, which, I think church and state should be separated myself. But I know it's not over policies. It's this sworn loyalty that really is not conducive to making any sense to me as things are currently. Maybe back in the 60s when you had, an attorney general that cared about you or that tried to do stuff relating the cases with you that wasn't inflaming racial tensions and it was accurately depicting the racism at that time that was very much apparent between African Americans and some Caucasians, and two presidents that actually signed legislation in support of you. Okay, then I can see the loyalty part, but I feel as if it's almost a thing of, well, my grandfather was one and my father was one. It's time for me to be one, and I'm so bothered by this constant thing where every time I go somewhere and they get on the subject of politics, they just start talking about them and talking about them and talking about them. And it's so annoying because even in not saying anything, I hear these claims and their statements almost as if they think they're going to make some impact. What do you mean you're not going to a red state because of who's the governor? You're not doing anything to hurt them. You don't even live there anyway. I don't like trying to think of a restaurant. I'm not a big fan of Taco Bell. Doesn't mean I'm opposing, but let's say if I was, it wouldn't matter anyway. They've never had my money on any regular or recurring basis. You are one person in the 300 million in the US, do you really think you are going to bring about the fall of the government in Texas, that your silent opposition will do anything? You know, it's so ridiculous that they feel that way and that that person said that. You're opposed to the whole state because of Abbott in Texas. You know, it's, I don't understand it. And that was the Trump experience of today. You know, he met with Salmon at the White House. You know, whoop de whoop. Not saying Salmon is insignificant, but we had more interesting days. But this was something that happened today, and it amazed me.